my therapeutic space. So today I wanted to begin a 3-part journey on mindfulness. So stay tuned for the following videos. Now, you've probably heard a lot about mindfulness and its practices, and for those of you who aren't familiar, I would love to focus this first video on what mindfulness is. There are many different definitions out there of what mindfulness is, but in the simplest way, mindfulness means focusing on the present moment in a non-judgmental and non-resistant way. So let's break that down into 3 aspects: the present moment, having a non-judgmental attitude, and having a non-resistant attitude. So when we talk about the present moment is really all we have, but we tend to forget about it often. We spend most of our time worrying about the future or feeling guilty about the past, and our inability to focus on the present is unhelpful because we begin to take for granted everything that is in front of us. And because we're so busy focusing on something else, we're focusing on the what ifs or I'll be happy when, and these are the most common escapes for the present moment. When we are not present, we are living our lives as if we're not really there. And mindfulness involves focusing on the present moment so that we don't walk through life on autopilot. Now, having a non-judgmental attitude means removing the filters or the lens that we see things in the present moment. So, there's a constant voice inside of us, and that constant commentary or our inner critic that goes along with our experiences. And this type of thinking prevents us from fully appreciating what we're experiencing because it means that we're seeing things through filters. And mindfulness is a non-judgmental attitude to the present moment where we're just able to experience what is. We're not using that inner critic. We're not following or listening that inner critic. And a non-resistant attitude is also a component of mindfulness. Most of our suffering is influenced by our resistance to what is happening in the moment. And this often involves negative thinking styles. And it shouldn't be like this, or I'm not good enough until, and so on. And this discomfort is part of life. We learn, we grow, we even heal in discomfort. But we try to avoid it as much as possible. So let me say this: pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. And mindfulness requires accepting this attitude to whatever it is we are experiencing. We need to be able to accept the discomfort, ride that wave, and allow yourself to feel what comes up for you in the moment. And now there is a difference between mindfulness and mindfulness practice, of course, and being mindful. So mindfulness is a state that we can experience at any time. Mindfulness practice is a deliberate attempt to be mindful with the intention to experience that natural mindfulness. So the practice you choose to help you increase your level of mindfulness varies, and it depends on personal preference. Some examples of practice include deep breathing exercises, of course, meditation, body scanning, observing your thoughts, mindful eating, focusing on your senses. Those are to list some. And the main thing that matters is finding your journey with what works for you and making mindfulness part of your life. So now I want to jump into mindfulness for anxiety. So to start, there's so many things that we believe can go wrong in our lives. It will always be easy to worry about something, and we have these automatic thoughts throughout the day that will focus on this negativity and worry. If you worry often, it can make it difficult to enjoy your life because it means you're just waiting for the bad things to happen. So focusing on the negative in life can lead to a self-fulfilling prophecy, and this is where your anxiety causes the event that you're actually worried about happening. So an example of this would be, let's say you worry about losing your job so often, and it begins to affect your performance so much that you actually end up losing your job in the end. So mindfulness can be an effective tool for overcoming this chronic worry that we may have and experience. Now, what is anxiety? It's a general term to describe the symptoms that we experience, that we feel. We might feel apprehensive about something. Physical and mental changes occur because the body's come into a physical arousal, the fight or flight response. Cortisol and adrenaline are released into the body to prepare that flight or flee from danger. And of course, it's perceived danger. Our mind believes it is a real danger, so it really does feel real to us, but it isn't. And symptoms might include inability to sleep, fast heart rate, irritability, tension in the body, you have those racing thoughts. Sometimes we experience stomach problems or stomach pains, panic attacks, and we all experience anxiety from time to time on different scales, different levels, so we are all not alone on that. And sometimes anxiety can be helpful in certain situations, like stress before an exam might encourage us to study harder. But the problem is that many of us experience anxiety that is unhelpful, and then it becomes dysfunctional because it's out of proportion to the threat that is actually facing us. And chronic anxiety means making constant mountains out of molehills, and it can leave us feeling powerless to manage our problems, manage our anxiety. And chronic anxiety can leave us with an increased risk of other mental health issues, such as increased anxiety and worry over other health issues, maybe heart disease, or we have weakening of the immune system, lower energy levels. So now when we begin to use mindfulness, we develop a new relationship with our anxiety. A new relationship with our thoughts, so that we don't always expect the worst and we don't suffer as a result of this negativity. Mindfulness can give you the ability to be more objective about the thoughts that you are having, so that you no longer react automatically. And the present moment can be an escape to any challenge that you might be facing in life. Just by being mindful for a few seconds, by being there, it moves you out of that high state of arousal and brings you back to where you are, where you can then think more rationally. It begins to move the tension out of your body. And mindfulness means experiencing what is happening right now in an accepting way, without judgment, without resistance. Anxiety can be experienced as sensations in your body, like stomach pain, for example. And you can put your attention on these sensations, like a body scan, feeling it, where it is, visualizing it, rather than creating those stories in your head about the anxiety. And this allows you to be here in the moment and let the wave of flooded emotions pass. When you experience anxiety in an accepting way, rather than fighting it or following it down that rabbit hole of negative thoughts, your body begins to relax and your thoughts can actually start slowing down. So I hope this video is helpful. Tune into the next video as we continue about mindfulness in self-compassion and depression. So thanks for watching. Bye.